We've all been there. That moment when someone's words or actions leave us feeling hurt, angry, or misunderstood. It's easy to react in the heat of the moment, to lash out or shut down. But what happens when these reactions become the norm? What happens when we consistently avoid dealing with our emotions in a healthy way? This, my friends, is where emotional irresponsibility takes root. It's like carrying around a bag of heavy rocks, refusing to acknowledge their weight until they start dragging us down. And the truth is, emotional irresponsibility doesn't just impact us, it affects everyone around us, especially those we love. It's time to unpack those rocks, to understand the weight they carry and the damage they can cause. It's time to talk about emotional responsibility, its impact on our relationships, and how we can choose a different path, one marked by courage, vulnerability, and authentic connection. Emotional responsibility. It sounds kind of formal, right? But it's actually pretty simple. It's about owning our feelings. All of them. The good, the bad, the messy. It means recognizing that our emotions, while deeply personal, don't give us a free pass to hurt others or check out of relationships when things get tough. Think of it like this. Imagine you spill coffee on your friend's new rug. Do you pretend it didn't happen? Blame the mug? Or do you own up to it, apologize, and offer to help clean it up? Emotional responsibility is kind of like that. It's about taking ownership of our messes, emotional and otherwise, and doing our best to make things right. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. Present with our feelings and present in our relationships. Because when we avoid taking responsibility for our emotional well-being, we end up creating chaos and disconnection in our lives, and the lives of those we love. So how can we tell if we're being emotionally irresponsible? Well, it often shows up in our behaviors and patterns. Do you find yourself constantly blaming others for your feelings? You made me angry. Or maybe you shut down and withdraw when difficult emotions surface, leaving your partner feeling lost and alone. Emotional irresponsibility can also manifest as a fear of vulnerability. We build walls to protect ourselves from getting hurt, but those same walls prevent us from experiencing true intimacy and connection. We might engage in passive-aggressive behavior, dropping hints instead of having direct conversations about our needs and feelings. Or we might become masters of deflection, changing the subject or making jokes to avoid dealing with uncomfortable emotions. Recognizing these patterns in ourselves is the first step towards change. It's about becoming aware of the ways we might be contributing to conflict or disconnection in our relationships. The truth is, unchecked emotional irresponsibility can wreak havoc on our relationships. Over time, resentment builds like a wall between partners. Trust erodes, leaving behind a foundation of insecurity and doubt. Communication breaks down, replaced by assumptions, accusations, and misunderstandings. Imagine a garden that's never tended. Weeds choke out the flowers, the soil becomes depleted, and eventually, nothing beautiful can grow. That's what happens to relationships starved of emotional responsibility. The love might still be there, buried somewhere beneath the surface, but it's suffocating under the weight of unmet needs, unexpressed feelings, and unresolved conflicts. The good news is that it's never too late to start tending to the garden of our relationships. By choosing to show up with greater emotional awareness and responsibility, we can begin the process of healing, growth, and reconnection. Becoming emotionally responsible isn't about achieving some unattainable level of perfection. It's about making a conscious choice to show up differently in our relationships. It's about cultivating self-awareness, learning to identify and regulate our emotions, and developing healthier communication skills. It means learning to sit with uncomfortable feelings instead of running from them or numbing them with distractions. It means being willing to have those tough conversations with our loved ones even when it feels scary or uncomfortable. Emotional responsibility is a journey, not a destination. There will be missteps along the way, moments when we fall back into old patterns. But with each stumble, we have an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to show up with greater compassion for ourselves and for those we love. Let's take a look at Sarah and John. They've been together for 5 years, and lately, their relationship has been strained. John tends to shut down during arguments, leaving Sarah feeling unheard and unimportant. This pattern of withdrawal leaves Sarah feeling increasingly frustrated and resentful. One day, after a particularly heated argument, Sarah decides to approach John differently. Instead of blaming him for her feelings, she takes a deep breath and says, When you withdraw during arguments, it makes me feel like you don't care about my feelings. It's important to me that we can talk things through, even when it's difficult. John, taken aback by Sarah's vulnerability, realizes that his pattern of shutting down is hurting their relationship. He apologizes for not being more present and shares that he withdraws because he doesn't know how to express his emotions constructively. This honest conversation marks a turning point for Sarah and John. They begin attending couples therapy, where they learn healthy communication skills and develop a deeper understanding of each other's emotional needs. It's not always easy, but with effort and commitment, they start to build a stronger, more emotionally connected relationship. So, where do we start? How do we actually become more emotionally responsible? Here are a few practical tips. Start with self-awareness. Pay attention to your emotions and how they influence your behavior. Practice self-regulation. Find healthy ways to manage difficult emotions, such as exercise, meditation, or journaling. Learn to communicate effectively. Express your needs and feelings clearly and respectfully, while also being open to hearing your partner's perspective. Take responsibility for your actions. Own your mistakes, apologize sincerely, and strive to do better next time. Seek support when needed. Don't be afraid to reach out for professional help if you're struggling to manage your emotions or navigate relationship challenges. Remember, change takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small victories along the way.